You're watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet.
Hello and welcome to All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet, with me, Steve Sidwell, and Wayne Bridge. Joining us today is a true icon of the game, a Manchester City golden boy, league winner with Chelsea, but more importantly, our former teammate, a good friend of ours, and a good fan of the All to Play For podcast, Shaun Wright-Phillips. Right, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, man.
It's about time. You've got a busy schedule at the moment. You're working, you're on TV screens, you're everywhere. Enjoying it?
Yeah, you left some openings for me, so I thought I'd step right in. You've been on holiday, haven't you?
You're doing loads for City as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I go to Mexico and LA on Monday. So
It's a good life, isn't it?
Not complaining.
How long are you away for?
Only 6 days.
Oh, just the 6 days.
Yeah, just 6 days.
And that's for an ambassador with Manchester City.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Put a word in for me, geez. I did have a couple of years
I
there.
was say, why are you not going on then?
I don't know, mate. Mr. City, you can put a word in for me.
Right.
See how good friends we are then, shall we?
Look, let's get straight into it. Bridgie, wow, what was it, 4 weeks ago we were sitting here,
Yeah.
that World Cup, end of the World Cup kind of shows. The Premier League season is back up and running well and truly. We're in the thick of it now. How have you found the Premier League in general from start to now? I know it's been a bit unprecedented, but...
Yeah. Probably not enjoying it that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got
Seems
Arsenal
weird.
at the top and Saints at the bottom. So I don't particularly like the look of that.
Yeah.
Chelsea sat at 10th. So, yeah, but no, it's interesting. There's a lot going on, with Chelsea. See what happens with them.
Yeah.
God knows.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've mentioned Saints. Just
Do you think they get out of it?
no. I don't think any of my
think they're
mates
gonna
do.
struggle.
They're
Yeah,
going
I
to
think they're gonna
struggle. But if they can play Chelsea every week, they might have a chance.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a great result. But it shows you how bad Chelsea are.
Yeah, we'll come on to Chelsea. Right, listen, it's getting tasty now. City chasing down Arsenal. Can they do it?
Yeah, I think they can. I think if you watch Arsenal over the season, as good as they have been, they still give up a lot of chances. And a lot of those teams haven't taken those chances. So I think there will be other opportunities for City to capitalise on. It's just whether they're at their best at that time.
Do you think City will do it? Do you think they'll win?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah, longevity.
I think
yeah.
they do it.
Really?
Yeah, I think everyone's waiting for Arsenal to slip up.
Yeah.
and
But
I
they're
think even their fans know they're going to slip up at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen, and I can just see City pouncing.
Well, look, we've got an absolute bumper weekend. City, Newcastle, Saturday. Liverpool, Manchester United on Sunday. City, they need to throw everything at this. Obviously, with Newcastle, they're having a great season. Coming off the back of that cup final. I know, obviously, they lost, but still, spirit's going to be high. They're the early kick-off. If they win that, puts a little bit of pressure on Arsenal that are kicking off at 3 p.m. against Bournemouth after.
Yeah, it will do, but I think, what's the date? It's Tuesday. Yeah, so Arsenal actually got Everton tomorrow as well, with that game in hand. So anything could happen there.
He's done his homework. Look how much he's
I tell you
changed.
what, I know. It's no wonder you had a
Prepping
late
the
night.
car on the way through.
Everton are fighting. Do you know?
Yeah.
They are fighting. So it ain't going to be an easy game for them.
No.
Two teams that are really going to put everything into it. It ain't going to be easy. I think if Arsenal get a goal,
Yeah.
It's over.
I think it'll be over because they'll relax a bit more. But I don't think they'll be that relaxed. It's not going to be an easy game. So as long as that game goes on 0-0, Everton have got a chance.
Yeah. Well, look, at the moment as well, we've got a bit of FA Cup action. City were brilliant last night against Bristol City. Look, let's talk about the FA Cup. Right, you've won it twice. And first one was in the brand new Wembley. Bridgie, you played.
Yeah.
What was it like? Because you played in the Southampton one against Arsenal in Cardiff.
Yeah.
So was it different playing at the new Wembley? Was there more of a hype around it? Because you was the first cup final there, was it, at the new Wembley?
Yeah.
Both of them.
It's difficult because, you'd rather play at Wembley.
Yeah.
But for Saints, to be in a cup final, the
it doesn't
atmosphere was
matter where it is.
amazing. The build-up, like leaving the stadium to travel there, everything was brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to compare. But you'd obviously rather play at Wembley.
Yeah.
But if I'm totally honest, I was very just focused on the game in hand. But with the Saints one, it was just, for the fans, it was massive. They haven't been to anything like that for years.
Yeah, and then the Wembley one, 2007, was it, against United?
Yeah, 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah. Rubbish
Didier.
game.
It was a rubbish game, but I remember even when Mourinho said I was starting, he's basically put me and Paolo to double up on Ronaldo. And in effect, actually won us the game because we managed to keep him as quiet as we possibly could.
When did he give you the instructions that you was starting?
Thursday.
So the Thursday before the cup final.
Yeah.
He named the team or just told you?
He didn't. I wouldn't say name the team to me, but he just told me that this is going to be your job. So we know
he's
you
good
want.
like that, isn't he?
Were you shocked to be playing or not?
I wouldn't
Not
say I was shocked. I would
pleased.
say.
You think you might not start? You were pleased.
Yeah,
because I was pleased. I didn't
always
think
going
I'd
to be
start.
pleased. You know what I mean? When you're going to start in a cup
Yeah.
final, and against United and Ronaldo on that side, who was in peak form at the time as well. And
flying.
and we had to we knew if we could keep him quiet, whatever we had to do, we'd done it, and it worked. So it was just a matter of me understanding. Although you're an attacker, you're not an attacker today. You have to do extra defending more than you normally do, and just get on with it. And as we all are here, we always played for the team regardless, and it worked.
I remember watching that game in Vegas because I come
right
to
for some, isn't
Chelsea
it?
the season after, or that's end of that summer. So I remember watching it, and obviously we'd done a night out, not gone to sleep because it was on like 9 a.m. and watching it. It was a terrible game. I remember watching
it wasn't a
terrible
good game.
No.
We was like half watching, falling asleep like this.
It was a terrible game, but it was great. It was great to be involved in.
Well, of course, because
with
won.
the United, it was with the United fans.
Yeah.
It was like we hated each other so much. And I just remember Ash come on, because I was shocked to be playing. I know I played the games in the lead up, but with Ash being there in the final, I thought he'd play. But he didn't, he came on, and I ended up playing in front of him. But I remember when we scored, and Ash kept going up to the fans, going, "Chins up, come on, chins up." Just winding them up. And it was brilliant, because they were just devastated.
Yeah, but it was heated then, wasn't it? That
Very
spell where it
heated.
was Chelsea, Arsenal the whole time. Leicester obviously they got knocked out last night against they got knocked out? Blackburn, wasn't it? So cup upset. So the following season at Chelsea, I signed. I thought I'm going to try and get a trophy, but we got knocked out to Barnsley, if you remember. Was it like late stages, qualifier rounds?
Oh, I definitely played. Why do you have to bring that game up?
Favourite moment, I suppose, for the magic of the cup upsets. Have you got any ones that ring a bell?
There's been a lot of those in my career, to be honest, at my time
Or ones that
between
you've watched?
Chelsea and that I've watched.
Yeah. Was there any at Chelsea that got knocked out too? Obviously, Barnsley was a big one.
It's been a few, hasn't there? There's been, because there's always banana skins with big teams, and I think sometimes managers think that they can just bring players out of the cold into a game like that and just expect it to click. I think football's changed now, whereas there's so much rotation that a lot of players always have game time. So even if they do make that switch, they're already game ready. Yeah. They're not rusty. They don't have to. So times are so different now.
Yeah.
So I've done a bit of homework last night.
Did you?
Oh, here we go. Go on then.
Unlike me, I know. Oldham, Liverpool.
Oldham, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember that one?
No.
At Oldham? Yeah,
No.
3-2, I think it was.
What was it?
Yeah.
I remember the old pitch. It was dry, dusty.
Yeah.
Oldham was...
Yeah, it's bad. And then another one, the final. Wigan.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Do you know
Yeah.
why?
Do your homework?
No. Do you know why?
Why?
Ben Watson scored.
Yeah.
And people have said to me before, I've been out and about, they've gone, Ben Watson. And I've just gone, in the end, because you just end up going, you
They
can't...
almost went down that season as well, didn't they?
Did they get relegated to win the FA Cup?
Did they? No,
No,
I think they
survived.
They got relegated. No, they didn't.
They got relegated.
Yeah, they got relegated.
I was doing my homework that well then.
Yeah, they got relegated. Yeah, but I live off that. I've had to. People have bought me drinks off that. Ben Watson
nice.
scoring in the FA Cup final, and just gone through with it. So let's talk about FA Cup quickly. Favourites to win it: Man City 6-4, Man United 7-2. A lot of Man United fans are putting bets on for them to do the quadruple here. They're getting carried away after last week. Yeah. Spurs 11-2. You might as well take them out. And Brighton 15-2. Who would you say?
There's your sleeping giant right there.
Who? Brighton to win the FA Cup. Yeah.
I think people underestimate them.
They've done amazing, haven't they?
If you look at them over the last 3 years in general, even under Potter, they battered Chelsea numerous of times.
Yeah.
Gave City a run for their money, especially with possession. Liverpool, you saw what happened to them this year. So whatever big teams they come up against, they don't shy away from the challenge ever, do they, really?
It's like nothing's changed, is it? Since Potter's gone, De Zerbi's come in, his same sort of kind of football and he
just brought more goals to the table for Brighton.
Yeah.
And that's all they were missing, really, wasn't it?
So, a little bit of luck, didn't they? They played City, didn't they, in the semi-final a few years back, and they never really turned up. It was just more of an enjoy the occasion kind of day.
They'll definitely turn up this time.
Yeah, you're tipping them as outsiders, yeah? Brighton, 15-2 there. Right, we're going to play our new Virgin Bet Builder game. Each week, our friends at Virgin Bet have picked out a match for us to do 5 predictions. Match result, correct score, and first goal scorer. Then there's going to be 2 mystery markets of their choosing. Each correct prediction will win you a point. The harder the prediction, the more the points, okay? If our guests beat you over the series, all right, you're going to owe me dinner, all right?
So not each week.
No,
at the end.
over the course of the series, okay? But if you beat our guests, starting with Righty, okay, then I'll buy you dinner.
Just buy me dinner each week.
No, at the end of the
All
series.
right.
All right, just stay with me. Stay with
I'm
me.
with you.
Okay, so this week's fixture is one of the most heated rivalries in England. It's Liverpool versus Manchester United. Right, Bridgie, you're up first. Okay, so who's going to win the game?
I fancy United. It's always a close game, but Liverpool have been poor, so I fancy them to nick it.
Okay, so United to win. First goal scorer.
My man Rashford has been on fire. So
Like it.
Going for him.
Yep, and the score. Exact
Like I
score.
said, it's always tight. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. 2-1 United.
2-1
Rashford.
United, Rashford.
Yep, Righty, who are you going for?
Definitely United.
Oh, definitely United.
Yeah, for me. I think 3-1 will be the score.
3-1, so one more than Bridgie.
And I think Workhorse will score the first goal.
Wow.
He's due
Outsider.
a goal. Yeah, I just feel like he's due a goal. He's
Right.
had some close calls, the ball, and they are chucking crosses in the box as well, which is one of his strong points.
Okay, and that's first goal scorer as well, by the way. Yeah, you
Yeah.
think he's going to get the first goal? Big one.
Thanks for that,
Big
mate.
one.
Aiming
All
points higher.
right, so there's three predictions. Okay, a curveball now for the additional 2. So traditionally, this is a spicy game. So our mystery markets for this week is a player to be carded, and over or under 5 cards. Okay, so right, you can go first on this one. A player to be carded, and is it going to be over 5 cards or under 5 cards for the game?
Definitely over 5 cards,
Yep.
especially with
I
Casemiro
would've said
and
that.
Fabinho
I'm
in
going
there.
Casemiro. Don't pick it. I'm going Casemiro.
And Casemiro to get the first one.
Okay. Bridgie, over or under first?
Do you know what? I'm going to go under.
Yeah.
Just because the way the football is. I think if you go back a few years, I think you definitely go over. But the way football is these days, you can't get away with as much. So I'm going to go under. But I'm also...
If you can't get away with much, don't that lead to more yellow cards?
No, because I just think players are a bit more careful because you can get sent off a lot easier these days. So that's what I'm going for.
Under?
And can I choose this? Yeah, under. I'm going under.
Yeah.
Can I choose Casemiro as well? Because I thought...
Well, yeah, you can do if you want to. You'll both get a
not
point
really
if he
want
gets...
me to- Yeah.
Leveling up the playing field, then you're trying to pick the same.
I hate losing. You know I hate losing.
It's either going to be him
Yeah, I'm
or
going
Fabinho.
to... I wanted to go Casemiro, but I'll go Fabinho, mix it up a bit, yeah.
All right.
And under. Fabinho
Okay.
and under.
Quite similar then. Quite similar. Could be a tasty one, this. Well, there's our predictions. If you want to make yours and build your bet, just download the Virgin Bet app and head to your bet builder. Please visit Virgin Bet for full terms and conditions. You've got to be over 18 to play, and please gamble responsibly. Okay, let's look forward to this weekend's action. We spoke City Newcastle. The other big one is Liverpool versus Manchester United. Let's look at some other games though. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Now they kick off at 3 p.m. We mentioned it earlier on. It's a big game considering City playing earlier on puts the pressure right on Arsenal. They are home against Bournemouth. Actually, this one's going to go for Arsenal.
I think for me, Arsenal will blow them away. I think once they get the first goal, I feel like the floodgates will open, especially at the Emirates. I think Arsenal at the minute, I think people, and including myself, we need to give them a little bit more respect on what they've achieved in the season so far. Being the first time in that position, having a team like City, who's been through this for the last 5 years, chasing you, isn't easy to deal with. And for a possibly youngest squad in the Premier League, I think they've handled it really well.
Yeah, they have. They've been brilliant, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been great. I just think I really want them to slip up.
Yeah.
I think it just depends how the City game goes. I think if City win, there's definitely the pressure on them. And, you know, Bournemouth are fighting. And I can just see one of them, even City sometimes, slipping up against the lesser team because they're either too relaxed. But I think if City lose, it's just a massive opportunity. Or if they draw, it's a massive opportunity for Arsenal. They'd be so well up. They'd just be well up for it. like drilling it into each other. Like this is it. So it just depends how the game goes.
Yeah. How did you guys find it because obviously when you was playing in the peak of your careers, you was fighting for titles, and that was at the time when the TV was sort of controlling the schedule of the game. So how did you find it when you played before the early kickoff or later? What did you prefer? If you was like, say for instance, it was Chelsea Man U and you had the 12 o'clock kickoff and Man U at 3.
I'll go early.
Yeah, me personally, I'd rather have the points. Yeah, I'd rather have the points.
That's what I say. It plays in your mind what's happened before.
Yeah. So 100%, it puts more pressure on you then to go out after.
You just rather have the points on the board, you know what I mean? Then once you've done your part, then it's like over to you. Let's see what you can do.
Blame what's happened on what's happened before because it's played with your mind and things, and the manager say, we've thrown it away because of this. Like, I think it's good to just get it out of the way.
Well, look, they are having a wobble, Arsenal. They've had a few draws. They scraped past Villa last week. So is this... Everyone was waiting for them to, have the shake. City they've won a game. They've had a bit of a stutter as well. So there's still points to be dropped. Is that what you're saying? Even from now to from City and Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. There's still a long way to go.
But you can see City go on a run of 10 games unbeaten.
Oh, you can. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the way they're playing of late, the last few games, I think they've been brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like every time they get momentum to go into that run, they come up against a team like, say, in the top 6, who are trying to put things together and causing a lot of other teams problems. So they never get full momentum. Normally it's like a few teams that you expect them to be.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, and then they go and draw against Forest. Yeah. Not because they didn't have the chances to win, just because the chances didn't go in the back of the net. Yeah. And that can happen in football.
Yeah, I mean, it puts a pressure on Arsenal for sure. Look, Arsenal, they're 2-9 favourites to win. Odds on for Arsenal to score more than 2.5 goals. So, the bookies are fancying Arsenal strongly there. Let's talk Chelsea. I know we don't really want to. Chelsea fans, look away. The season that we've had, especially if you look at the reverse fixture at Ellen Road, they play Leeds at home. That's going to be a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, they're on the ropes, Chelsea, at the moment, aren't they?
Every game is difficult for them at the moment, I think.
It's weird though, because although they're not scoring many goals, before the Spurs game on the weekend, it wasn't the lack of creating chances. They had the chances, they was creating them, but they didn't have person really to put them in the back of the net. And then when I watched the Spurs game, it's gone from one extreme to the other, where there was pretty much hardly any chances really made anyway, full chances. So the one thing they will have against Leeds is Leeds play open football. No matter who's taken over, Leeds will give up a lot of chances. And they do have the quality there to take those chances. It's just they need that horrible spell that they're in to change, don't they, really?
Every week, I think everyone, Chelsea fans, definitely thinking, saying, maybe this week, something's going to change. But it just doesn't. It's going on and on and on. There's just a lot going on there. Players they need to get rid of. They brought a lot of players in. New manager, there's just so
injuries
much going on
as well. Lots of injuries.
There's so much going on, and you want to give Potter time because you feel like he was a good manager and he's done well at Brighton. He's a good coach, but I'm just not sure how well he's dealing with the amount of players you've got.
I don't think anyone could deal with that though. Like, it doesn't matter what the manager is. They're not small egos. It's not like the players that he's leaving out are like they're all elite international players, so it's going to be hard for any manager.
When you look at managers, like when I think of like Mourinho and people like that, I felt like he would have been able to deal with players, maybe not in the right way, but there would have been certain players you're going, well, these are my players now. The other players that you think needs to get rid of, I reckon he might have just like...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying I think Potter should do. I think he should find these 24, work with that 24. Yeah. And not saying forget the rest, but start your preparation.
He's trying to keep them on side when you need them. But it's being honest with them, maybe.
But once you've signed into that squad of 24, effectively, if you're not in that 24... as rude as it sounds, you can't use them regardless of you have an injury or not.
And it depends on the player's mentality, like what they're like. Because I feel like
that's strange.
I know I'm going to say it's because it's us here, but I feel like if we were the ones that were left out, if we were training still, we'd put the effort in.
You'd still drive training.
And if you were then put in the team, you'd still do what you could for the team. I look at some players and I'm like, you can see they just look so half-hearted. Yeah. And they look like they'd be trouble around the dressing room.
You boys would have played in, obviously, Chelsea and City for starters. So you'd have had it day by day where Potter's this scenario where you've got 25, 30 egos, where how big or small they are. How odd, or did you see it at Chelsea and City in terms of the like similar scenarios what Potter's going through here? Can you remember like any times at Man City where you had a squad of 25, but you had 10, like 5 or 6 world-class players just sort of training with the 21s or the 23s.
I think it's happened for me at both of the clubs, especially a spell with Mourinho, where I was I wasn't going to be first choice, but I always felt like part of the team. I trained with the team. I always put the effort in.
Yeah.
But he kept me around.
Side.
He kept me on side. He kept me around the team. Whereas at Man City just went like that. You're with the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, fair enough, he was never going to use me again, and I knew that.
Yeah.
But I never caused any problems. I wasn't one of them. There would be players that would, like Adibar, you know what he was like? He was with me, with the kids. We had Bellamy,
probably dealing with now.
Yeah, so he's got to decide, you know, are you going to try and keep these players on board and keep them around? And if they're bad eggs, for me, you just go, you're over there, you're gone. But obviously, I don't know if he's answering to people that higher up in the club as well.
Yeah.
I just feel, well, there's always going to be egos at those two clubs. I think the hardest part is how the manager deals with it, which you said. But for me, like I said, I keep going back to it. Like, you've got a squad of 33 players. There's, 11 to 8 of them, 8 to 11 of them. That's not in a squad no longer.
Yeah.
You did separate it. He needs to start focusing on next season and getting the team playing how Harry had Brighton playing. If he can get those elite players playing like that, to a degree, they're going to be untouchable. Because if you can do that with Brighton and you can get elite players at international level to do the similar thing, it's going to be at a better standard of quality.
Yeah.
So I would leave him in there, personally.
Yeah. Look, Graham Potter's got to be feeling the pressure. They've spent 598 million, only 2 wins in the league since in 2023. They've only scored 6 goals, I think, as well, since November. It feels as though he's got the backing of Todd Bowley and they're stringing it out, but you feel as though it's only around the corner that the fans could kick off. And if they do kick off and start protesting, that then just speeds up the process, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. But I think it's a tricky one. I think if the owners are backing him, and they've said publicly they are, well, Todd Bowley has anyway, I think they have to ride it out with him. I think as soon as they do what the fans want, not saying that the fans don't deserve the right to voice their opinion, but as soon as they go that way, what's to say if another manager comes in and they don't like him, they're going to do the same thing again, then they might get stuck in the situation. So I think, for me personally, I think fans, players, everyone who watches them got to understand Chelsea are going through a massive transition right now. They've got to get players out, they've got to get players in, which they most probably will do again in the summer. Potter's come in halfway through the season. Not only has he come in, he's come in and I think 10 or 11 new players have come in that he has to fit in. He's had to change the squads. So I think for him to even implement the way he wants to play, he hasn't even had time to do that yet, because every time he starts building the players into the way he plays, there's another influx of players. So it's almost like he has to start those training sessions and those lessons all over again to fit the new players into the way he wants to play. So there's so many moving parts that I think a lot of people, myself and everybody else, do not understand. So I think he needs time to do that, and pre-season's where he will get that.
I think you're bang on. I think he needs to the end of the season. It looks as though they spent the money to kind of try and buy the Champions League. League's out of the question. I worked with Graham Potter, obviously, when I was at the 18s at Brighton. I used to watch him a lot, and he is a fantastic coach. Obviously, now he's a different ball game where he is with Chelsea, understandably. But I think with the injuries that he's got, the players that's come in, the bloated squad, I think he does deserve a bit of time. Look, Chelsea, despite their poor run of form, they are favourites to win this. They're 5-8 to win. Leeds are 9-2. The Leeds, just quickly, they could have a new manager in charge, Javi Gracia. He's done a great job at Watford. Do you think Leeds can get a result here and be safe this season, or do you see them possibly going down?
I don't think you can write them off this game at all.
No.
When you look at the way Chelsea are. So, you know, look at what Southampton did against Chelsea. It's like Southampton are very, very poor. You know, all my mates are Southampton, and like, it's miserable for them at the moment in the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
So I think it's strange that they're that much favourites, to be honest. I think Leeds have got a massive chance of taking points against them.
Okay. Look, let's go to the big one. Liverpool versus Manchester United. We've obviously had your predictions beforehand. You see Man United winning this. Look, they're in a good run of form, aren't they, at the moment, United? Rashford's obviously flying. They're creeping up quietly behind Arsenal and City. Can they make a late charge to win the league?
I don't want to say yes because I'm a blue. But
yeah, I wouldn't say yes because I'm a blue, and I don't like United either, if I'm totally honest. But it's the way something's definitely changed. Something's clicking with them. And
they're flying, aren't they?
They are flying. And I'm buzzing for Rashford because he definitely went for a spell where it just wasn't working for him. And, you hear him behind the scenes. He's working hard in the gym, extra training, and he's absolutely flying.
Yeah.
So I'm buzzing for him as much as I'm not buzzing for United. But something has definitely clicked. And like you said, they're quietly moving along. And I'll guarantee you that the players in there will be feeling confident. You know what it's like, you play in a team when you go out each week and you feel like you're going to win. You feel like everything's going to go your way. I feel like that's what's happening with United at the moment.
They're only 8 points. Arsenal 57, City 55, United 49. Only 8 points off the top.
What they've got, though, is they've got that mentality that, sometimes when teams just don't play well, they seem to still be able to win. I don't think throughout the season, I could say I've watched Man United and said, they've been outstanding. They just know right now how to win games, and they have that experience in there with, obviously, Casemiro. I have to put Luke Shaw in there because I think he's been one of their best players this season. And when you got a player like Rashford, who seems to be able to score even when he hasn't touched the ball, he's gained something in his performance as well. But the worry for me with United is if anything happens to Rashford, who gets their goals? Because they don't really share the load really that well.
He's got to be one of the top strikers in Europe at the moment, isn't he?
It has to be. Yeah. Has to be.
His form is
all the
fine.
attributes to be the best for a while.
That's why I think they smoke Liverpool, because I don't think Trent or Milner will be able to contain Rashford.
How much credit has got to go down to Ten Hag, because you think about, we're only 4 or 5 months away from when they got beat to Brentford, wasn't it? When they got smashed at Brentford, and they're walking off the pitch and thinking, wow, these are miles off it. This is not United, and then all of a sudden,
a lot of credit. There's a lot of credit, especially with all the Ronaldo stuff that's gone on, just everything, the way he's dealt with everything. That's what I mean. He's, when I talked about Potter and then someone Mourinho handling it different, I feel like he just knows what he's going to do. He's going to stick to his guns.
Yeah.
He looks like he knows how to treat players and maybe how to get the best out of them.
It's kind of like done it my way or the highway sort of thing. Yeah. Pretty much taken over like a Fergie sort of role, where he said, no one player is bigger than Manchester United or any football club. And I think the fact that they're getting results, the players are responding to it even more as well. And to win a cup on the back of that, they're going to do nothing but listen to what he says, because it's working. Yeah,
there's definitely a respect there. Look, a quick one on Liverpool. They're in a bit of a slump. Chalk and cheese to United. What's going to go on? What's going to go on there at Liverpool? I mean, why have they been so poor?
It might be another transition thing from
midfield
as well.
I think
injuries.
I wouldn't necessarily say so much injuries for me. I think if you look back over the last 5 years, for a start, how we managed to keep the same 11 players fit for nearly 3 to 5 years is beyond me to start with. But I think the players in middle have burnt out because they did a lot of running. They're the two people, especially Fabinho and Henderson, were the two people that allowed Trent and Robinson to get that high up the pitch. Now that those guys go that high, I don't think the midfield have the legs now to cover those positions, and it's leaving that centre-backs wide open every time.
Do you think he's been too loyal to that squad?
Yeah.
Some of them should have gone. You look at how cutthroat Fergie was down the way, and Jose.
Yeah.
He's just maybe one or two seasons.
By the way, they have. I don't know if you can say they've overachieved, but they've achieved a lot. They've done
the standard
so well.
Is frightening.
They've done so well.
For such a thin squad.
The bit they're going through at the moment, I think it's the fans have felt it more of what they've achieved.
Yeah.
But things have got to change. I think players have to go, and some have to come in. Definitely.
I think it's also letting go of the wrong players. I don't think he realised how much Mane would have been a massive miss. The amount of important games he scored in when their backs were against the wall was unbelievable, and I think they're suffering from that as well.
Top player. Well, look, it's still a tight one. Liverpool are 7-5 and United are 7-4. We've got a little bet builder here from Virgin Bet. Match result: Man United to win, Marcus Rashford to score any time in the match, over 8 corners for both teams combined, and Fred to receive a card in the match. You get 19-1. I think that's pretty
nice.
Pretty good. You can't go back on yours. Look, what really happened, Righty, look, you was there, Sergio Aguero, that goal, the special goal. Look, you was at the beginning of the City project, and then on that day you was obviously on the opposite team, so you see a bit of fruition that happened. What was your feelings on that day in terms of, because QPR was battling relegation to go down, but then there's got to be a side where you want City to win the league as well. Can
I
you
was
remember?
playing against United that day.
Yeah,
Sunderland. Yeah, I was on loan at Sunderland. I was
No
playing
way.
against them.
it
Yeah.
was.
So right, so let's go with Righty first. So then, so what was the feeling on the day first of all? Because obviously you want to stay up. But obviously there's a side that you want the City
of
boys to do
course.
it.
Yeah, of course. It worked out perfectly in the end, obviously. But I mean, at the actual week building up to that, because obviously it was me, Joey Barton, and Nader Manua that all came through the City Academy.
Yeah.
That were all in QPR. So we're preparing to obviously stay up, but at the same time we could stop our team from winning the league. So it was a weird mix of emotions week. But once we got to the game, we just said, to hell with it. We want to stay up. We're going to do our thing. And we was doing okay. We was in a position where we had the 3 points and everything. And I remember it clearly because I think we broke. It went out for a throw-on. And instead of taking our time, Jay Boothroyd runs over, picks up the ball, takes this throw-on.
Yeah.
City get it back. And then they go back the other end. But the speed of how the swing of the game changed was incredible. From 2-1 to 2-2 to 3-2 was all in the space of I think 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was like, wow. And then we found out obviously the news. So then it, like I said, it worked out a dream. So
what did it feel like when Dzeko scores the header? Are you still thinking, they're not going to get another one with, because there was minutes to go, wasn't it?
yeah, I'm thinking it's a draw, aren't I?
Yeah.
Draw's perfect for both teams,
Yeah.
effectively. Because
They won one goal
Hughesy,
difference, didn't they?
because Hughesy got in, basically said we're fine at the minute.
Yeah.
But that was at 2-2.
So you're getting messages from the dugout onto the pitch.
Only a few of us knew because we was on that side.
Right.
He's saying just relax, we're good right now, sort of thing. And then
Wow.
obviously it goes down the other end, and then boom, Aguero.
And when he put it in, what did you think? Did you think, wow, what a goal that is? Or
I
did
was
you
like,
think,
for sake.
really? Because you're thinking you're down and City have won the league and they've won. Is that what you're thinking then?
Yeah, I was thinking all the hard work we done
Yeah.
leading up to it, the preparation, pretty much worked. Sparky, Hughesy, all these tactics worked perfectly until that final detail, and to a point where, if I remember, Balotelli was on the floor. Nadem's gone to get the ball and he slid and kind of just moved it away with his foot, but into Aguero's space perfectly. Once a man like that gets in there, he just brute force, wasn't it? It wasn't clinical nice. He's like, I'm going to hit this as hard as I can. And it just flew
What a
in.
moment. It was brilliant. So you were on loan at Sunderland then from City.
Yeah.
So what was it like then at a stadium like then? Was it...
Well, the ending was.
I bet you loved the ending.
To be honest, I went to Sunderland on loan, but I had a chance to go somewhere else. I wasn't sure about going to Sunderland, and my agent talked me into going. At the end of the game, I was just like, get me out of here, because it's the worst decision I've ever made. I remember being, I forget, Wayne Rooney on a corner, and I said, I think they're losing, because I heard someone in the crowd, and he's like, they went, let me get a goal. I went, oh, yeah, all right. But I just remember the end of the game, and there was some, not a lot, but there was some Man United fans half celebrating.
Yeah.
And then, I remember I just get me out of it because I wanted to get out of there because it didn't go too well for me up there. And, I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought Man United had it. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, it was done.
Just done.
Couldn't believe it.
Brilliant. So good. Memorable. So memorable. Look, you two obviously go way back. You know each other really well. Any stories to fly around? I know the majority of them we won't be able to air, but what's your most memorable times together?
Probably a few. Got a night out in Moscow. Siddy, you were there on that one. We won't mention that one. Maybe a couple of holidays in Vegas. Me getting 2 weeks' wages fine because of him.
You got fined. Hold on, wait.
Playing against him a lot.
Hold on, wait there. You got fined 2 weeks' wages.
Yeah, 2 weeks' wages.
And it's his fault.
Yeah.
Right, comment.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I've got some football memories as well. Do you know what? It was, I think it was a Sunday, and I went out with Craig Bellamy, and we just went for a few drinks, bit of a day session, and ended up going back to my hotel because I was still staying in the hotel at the time. And then mid-evening, I got a phone call off Wrighty going, we're going to go out tonight. Do you fancy it? And I was like, I've been out all day. He's like, oh, come on. I was like, all right, I'll come. And I said, if I come, you've got to make sure I come home with you and stay at yours and you take me to training. Like that was, I remember saying that to him. I remember and then we went out. Obviously, the rest of it was a bit of a blur. And then I got woke up by housekeeping.
In your hotel
room? In my hotel room. So he obviously didn't take me home. And then like other clubs calling, wondering where you are. So I must have rocked up. I think training had finished by the time I'd rocked up, innit? It was like
I think
12,
you did some running.
1 o'clock.
So where was your teammate when you need him?
Oh, mate, I know. So, hold on, let me finish this.
No, he ain't finished yet. He's not finished yet.
So I walk in, like, my head down, thinking, there's no way I could disguise it. I looked a state. So Hughes, calls me and he's going, what's going on? I went, I should have said it was Shaun's fault, but I never. I said I went out for a few beers and then it ended up going a bit longer than it should have. And now I'm sat here. I didn't lie, I was just honest. Because honestly, he's got me away with a few fines before, but he said, it's not good enough, don't do it again. 2 weeks' wages, fine. I was just devastated. The worst thing about it was I went in the change room, the lads were all laughing at me, was the worst thing. But then, but to be fair to Sparky, it was brilliant of him. I'm just waiting for it to come out in 2 months.
Because that's a big hit.
It's massive, yeah. And he went to me, no, the lads, I'm not taking it off you. The lads know they can't
fair play.
Around no more. They won't do it because they know you've been fined 2 weeks' wages, so I ain't going to take it.
Wow.
I don't know what he's going to say, but it's probably a lie.
He's the hardest man to keep track of when we're both drinking at the same time. So I can't babysit.
True.
At the same
I did
time.
ask you to babysit me before I went out, though.
Look, Ray, mate, thank you so much for coming on. You've been an absolute joy, a pleasure. Before we go, football's in the genes, obviously. It runs through the family. DiMaggio is on loan at Northampton at the moment, isn't he, from Stoke?
Yeah.
So how's his football career going?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest with you. I think the manager before, when he had his debut, he was flying in the Championship, done really, really well, got himself a couple of goals. That manager gets the sack.
Yeah.
New one comes in, just for no particular reason, didn't even give him a chance to play bad, just never played him. So for a young kid already, his mental strength's already been tested. So for me personally, I think that's good for him. But at the same time, you also, being a dad, you want him to play football and show what he's capable of. So for the next few months, he's on loan at Northampton. And I said, just go and enjoy it, basically. And same things happened to him again there. He's gone on loan there and manager hasn't really played him either. So for whatever reason, he got on yesterday. And so now hopefully he will kick on.
Do you get to watch him much?
I do when I'm not working. I'm going to try and go up there on Saturday. I
Yeah.
don't know how that's going to end up going out with Joe and Bridgie the day before, but let's see what happens. Yeah, he's actually really, really good. His football IQ is really high.
He looks good. He looks good. Yeah. Do you reckon he's ever felt the pressure because of you and your dad and what you achieved or anything like that?
No, I've kind of always steered him away from it. I just said, if people ask, just say you don't really care about us. It's not about me. It's not about your uncle. It's not about your granddad. It's just about you creating your own paths in football. Yeah. You play completely different to all of us, as we've all played completely different to each other. So the path that he walks is the path that he chooses and creates.
He's got a great celebration, hasn't he?
We've been telling him to stop.
He needs to stop that
so
as well.
Dangerous.
Really?
Yeah. I know
Flips.
it is. Yeah, but it's
flip.
high.
Really high. Yeah.
Like he does a full backflip, but straight body, no crouching, and he gets right over. And next one's my daughter, isn't it? My 9-year-old. She plays for Arsenal, don't she?
Does she really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's both
great times come through well with women's football.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Well, look, we wish him the best of luck. Thank you so much for coming on. Remember to find us on the Joe YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast from. You have been watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet.
You've been watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet.